Hello everybody. Welcome back to another week of What's for Dinner. We've got some delicious meals for you guys. I hope you enjoy this Dean dinner video. So to start off the week, we actually had company over. So I put almost a 3-pound roast in my kasori cooker, and I just added that whole jar of that barbacoa. I think that's how you call it. I think that's how you say it. I put that whole thing in there. This was our first time trying any kind of like that style of Mexican, I guess is what I'm trying to say. We've never had the barbacoa before. So I just put it on for 8 hours, let it cook. I wanted it to be very, tender, shreddable, and it was. I did end up adding a whole packet of taco seasoning to this while it was cooking. It was almost done, it was pretty much done. And so I kind of tried some, and I didn't think it had enough flavor. So I just added in a whole packet of taco seasoning, and it was pretty good. We tried this authentic Spanish rice again. And we love it. And so on the next time that we have that Spanish rice, I will film it start to finish so y'all can see it because it's super delicious. But we just served these with some chips, some cheese dip, the rice, of course your traditional toppings. And then for my grandma, she had the salmon because she's not a fan of your traditional Mexican meat, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But this meal was definitely delicious, and we will have it again. For another meal from last week, I cooked one of Lori's from Loving Our Life. I did a collab with her previously, and I will have that video linked as well as her channel because she's awesome. Her content is super good. Her food is so delicious. But I got this recipe from her. I didn't have exact ingredients, so I just kind of made it up. But it was super delicious. And then next time I'll just have to make sure that I have a can of cream of mushroom because that's what I didn't have. So I just used a can of cream of celery, and then as you see in that meat I had just some cut up mushrooms that we had in the fridge, so it kind of worked out fine, because there were still mushrooms in there, but instead of cream of mushroom like she used, I just had a cream of chicken and a cream of celery, but still turned out delicious, so good. And make sure y'all go over and check out the video of her making it because it was delicious, and she had all kinds of other yummy recipes in that video. So y'all go give her go over there. Go over and check out her channel because she's awesome. So now that I am laid off work because of this whole, virus thing, unfortunately, daycares have closed here in Kentucky, and so I am off work for about 4 weeks, if not longer, just depending on how things go. But I'm home, and so I'm able to, take my time, cook some yummy dinners. So I kind of played around with this next dinner. I just kind of used what I had and in my head ooh, this would be good and this would be good, and y'all know how I am. I don't measure, I just cook as I go, and this was really, really good, and I'm glad I filmed it because so I can look back at it and know how to make it again. The only thing that I would change, Luke and I both agreed on after eating it, is that it needed some kind of sauce. It needed some kind of an Alfredo creamy sauce to pour over top of it. But y'all, this was so good. So I've just got 4 chicken breasts. I've cut them in half, of course, just to make them thinner. That's how we really, we prefer eating them that way. And it doesn't take near as long to cook. So I'm just seasoning them up. Y'all seen that balsamic garlic seasoning. I just sprinkle that on there as well as some complete seasoning. And then I'm just going to take a pastry brush and, just get that all well mixed in with some oil and kind of let that marinate for a little bit. So I'm using my iron skillet, as you see there. This is going to, one, let you be able to cook it from the stovetop into the oven. And then it gives such good flavor and sear and everything. And y'all, this was really good. So you're going to take and sear off your chicken. It does not have to be completely cooked because you're going to finish it in the oven. But you just want to get some nice color on there. Lock in that flavor. Y'all know I talk about that all the time. Make sure that you season from the beginning and season as you go. You want to build up that flavor. That's the best way for any recipe. Even like ground beef. If you're just frying it up, like add seasonings in there. And a lot of people, have said, oh, well, you're just going to be draining the grease. That's going down in there. Not all of that grease actually gets taken, from that meat. You still have a little bit in there. So and that flavor is all added into that meat. So you're not losing it all. But that's why you season as you go from start to finish. It makes your dish absolutely amazing. Build that flavor. You want delicious flavor in any of your meals. So I'm making sure that they're all well coated, delicious. So I'm just going to sear them off in that pan, and then I'm going to take those out, and then I'm going to start on my rice. Like I said, I just made this up as I go, so we will just go through this together. So for the rice, as you see, I've just got a cup of rice there. I've just took the chicken out, and then I added in some butter. You want to make sure that you have some kind of butter or oil or whatever, because you want to toast that rice, get it nice and toasty. You want to be able to smell the fragrance of the toast, if that makes any sense. But so once it's nice and toasted, you're going to start adding in your chicken broth. Make sure it's warm. You're going to kind of do this like risotto. You're going to kind of do this like a risotto. Add a little bit in, kind of let it, cook down. And then you'll add in the rest at the end. And then it will finish cooking in the oven. It took about 20-25 minutes in the oven. And I did ended up adding some garlic. And then I added in some sun-dried tomato pesto. That's where that darker color's from. But y'all, this was so delicious. I will absolutely make this again. And then, like I said, it definitely needs some kind of cream sauce towards the end, where, you have something nice to pour over that chicken and rice. But, y'all, this was so delicious. Wrap it with foil. Bake it at 350 for 25 to 30 minutes. So here's what it looks like once it's all done. You just want to make sure that the rice is cooked. I just took like a little bit, tasted it, made sure that it was well done, and it is. And then Winston is adding some Parmesan cheese on top. He ate this rice and he absolutely loved it. He's not a huge fan of chicken unless it's like breaded, like chicken nuggets or whatever. But he did eat the rice. He killed the rice. I'm telling y'all, this is so good. All it needed was an Alfredo cream sauce, and it would have been thebomb.com. Make sure that you try this. If you have any questions, let me know, because I know I didn't do the best at explaining the rice. And I'll try to kind of leave it in the description box on kind of how I did it.
Can I help you finish the cookie?
But along with this, we just served green beans. I just did my normal butter, chicken. I actually used what was left of the chicken broth and put the green beans in there, and then I just put some ham and salt, pepper, and some Worcestershire, and just let those cook up. Of course, this would have been better with broccoli, but we were completely out of frozen broccoli. But green beans work just as good. For the last meal of this video, I wanted to do something different kind of change it up, something that we haven't had in a long time. And so I made some chicken and gravy with mashed potatoes. This meal was really good, and I'm definitely glad that I changed it up because it was a huge difference in what we are used to, and it was absolutely delicious. So I'm sure that you can find a recipe on Pinterest for this. I honestly just did it. So I had 2 packs of chicken breast, and then I just put those in there, and then in my Instant Pot. And then I've got 2 packets. I've got a dry ranch, and then I have a chicken gravy packet. So I'm just going to open those up and dump that in my cup of water. It's probably like a little over a cup, but you just want to make sure that you have enough liquid in there, and it ended up making the right amount of gravy once you add in that second chicken packet towards the end, which y'all will see. So I like dumping it in the water and mixing it up, knowing that it gets well incorporated, no powdery chunks or whatever. But I'm sure if you did it either way, it would be fine, like if you added it in there and then poured the water. But this way, it kind of makes it easier. So I'm just going to make sure that's well mixed, and then I'm going to dump it on top. And then I'm going to make sure that it is set to sealing, and I'm going to cook it on pressure cook for 25 minutes. And it was so tender and delicious. It's so good. Perfect with mashed potatoes and any other side that you want. So once that 25 minutes was up, I did a quick release. I opened it up and let it go ahead and steam and vent out. And then once that did, I just opened it up and I took the tongs there, and I was able to just chop up that chicken with the tongs. That's how tender it was. And then I turned my Instant Pot off, and then you're going to turn it on saute, because you want to start thickening it up, and then you're going to add in a second packet of that chicken gravy. So when you add in this second packet of chicken gravy and you have it on saute, it's going to be boiling, and so it's going to thicken up that gravy, and it's going to be delicious. This was so flavorful. Adding in that dry ranch gave it so much more flavor, and this was delicious. For my mashed potatoes, I keep it simple. Just put in some butter and some salt and pepper, and then just some milk. A tip for making mashed potatoes, any of the liquid, like if you use like, you know, the evaporated milk or cream or regular milk, put it in your pan first before you add in your potatoes, and let that kind of heat up from the heat of the stove. Like, I don't mean leave the heat on, you know, turn your heat off. I do. I don't know if y'all leave your heat on, but I normally turn my heat off and then I strain my potatoes. So, but I put that pot back on the stove where I can, you know, make the potatoes. So if you take and put your liquid in there along with some butter, let it heat up. Let that come to a little bit of, you know, like a warm milk or cream. That way it doesn't shock the potatoes, or the potatoes don't shock the milk. And it helps keep it creamy and delicious. So give that a try. You might not be able to tell a huge difference, but that's also something that I learned in culinary school with that. And then y'all look at all that butter on top of there. So we just served it along with some carrots, and then I had made some homemade bread. This bread was so good, and I will definitely be filming a video on it in the future as soon as I can find me some yeast. But that is it for this week's What's for Dinner. I hope you enjoyed these Dean Dinner recipes. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Please comment down below, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see y'all later. Bye, guys.